speak up, right? Because one of the things that we are challenged is that only 25% of women enterprises or women entrepreneurs ever even seek capital outside of their own bank account. And that can be limiting in and of itself. Something it can be related to, they want to be independent and not feel bogged down by any of the rules and regs that may be perceptions that there may be in terms of getting money from the government or who else. Some of it is just not being knowledgeable about it. So we're trying to shine a light about those things. You mentioned 1717, you mentioned activation capital, but at the end of the day, some folks feel like there's still a population of individuals out there that are underserved. And I would argue that women and Black and brown people fall into that category more time than not. How do you, what do you think is some of the biggest challenges that you need to overcome? And I'm gonna pause right there. We'll go back to it because you said something about being competitive. And I know you like sports.
Yes.
How about those Steelers? I'm telling you, I was holding my breath. Because I'm a Steelers fan.
Yeah.
And we shouldn't have never let them score on us as many times as they did. And then at the end, you're sitting here, we're in a tie game, and now there's overtime. And I'm like, what's going on? It was just, so I don't know. I'm assuming you saw that game, but that was a pretty phenomenal game.
Well, there's been a lot of really exciting games at the last few minutes recently. And it's been fun. And, Big Ben's had a rough season trying to stay healthy. And I think that's a hard thing when your quarterback is not in the best shape, but that makes your victory even stronger, right?
Yes.
When you know that you've got to push a little more, dig a little deeper. And that's what we have to do as entrepreneurs, push a little more, dig a little deeper.
That's right.
Keep moving forward.
I had to do that. There's football and television. We're at ESPN Richmond 106.1. I just had to throw that in. Now let's get back.
Know. And the Titans beat the Bills last night in an exciting finish.
Yeah. So that, again, and that to me is the spirit of being tenacious, the spirit of persevering through difficulty and never giving up. And I think that happens when you have leadership that all of us are bought into that vision, and we're going to give everything we can, whether we're on the front line or on the back line, offense or defense. And that means even when you have a great CEO that has a great vision and they're doing great things. So I'm really curious in terms of, how do we break those barriers where the leader feels like they have to take everything on their shoulders, which most women do, right? Because I think the best lesson for us to be bosses and CEOs is not simply going to business school. I think is, we run our households, right? But we don't have to take all of that on us. And I'm curious if you have found some of those barriers, whether it's people you were connecting or just in your own life where you have to realize I have to let go of some things and then it can grow more.
Yeah, I think, going back to the sports analogy is that everybody has their role in that success. Whether you are the water boy or the quarterback, you cannot be successful without every single position and everybody on the sideline helping, and the people that are in the back room waiting for the injured person to come and get them ready to get back on the field. It takes everybody to do it together. And, one person not carrying their weight makes that difference. But I think really understanding your strengths and then building people who are stronger in your areas that are weak around you is so, so important. And being willing to recognize early on what those weaknesses are, what you're not really good at, what you don't like doing. And that's, define those things that you don't like, define the things that you love and you do really well. And then you can build a team around that.
That's right. I think that's sage advice. As we were just talking about earlier, one of the things that we want to do is help our clients at the Women's Business Center build economic assets. Those things are real important because they give you a little bit more runway. I was recently talking with someone, they were talking about, did you know that you can get a whole life insurance policy and then you can borrow against that and use that as seed money for your company? It's totally legit. Most people don't know little things like that on how you can grow. But the piece that you just mentioned to me is about leadership. It's about collaborating and building collaborative bridges. It's about being able to truthfully assess your strengths and your weaknesses and being able to compensate one way or another. Either you strengthen those or you bring somebody along. But